Hey y'all, I made this king size headboard and bed frame for my brother. Stay tuned to see how. So my brother just bought his house down in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and he saw what I did with my headboard and he said he wanted one. So I drove down, I brought all my tools with me, and we got to work. I was a self-proclaimed project manager on this one. I was taking full advantage of all the extra hands, even doing a little delegating myself. Y'all, I bought this tent at Harbor Freight for like $49 on sale, and it's been clutch ever since. Once we got everything set up, we finally got to cutting, and for a second I forgot that I had extra hands, and I was right back to doing my independent way of sawing things. I don't know why I do this, but I tuck my leg under the wood so that it doesn't fall. It's a terrible idea, could possibly cut my leg open one day. Don't do this at home, but that is how I do it when I'm by myself. Now, I didn't forget about the extra hands when it came to the heavy lifting. I let my brother and my dad handle all of that. We started with the bed frame portion first. My brother really wanted storage and drawers, and I found these awesome Anna White DIY plans. I will absolutely link those in the description box below.
You have it on the right side? You check that? All of that?
Right,
All of that? Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
So I'm just holding
Are
this
we
down
going to
too,
split
right?
the table in two? You're pretty close to the table. You sure that's
Am I?
clear?
It should clear.
Okay. Yeah, I was just checking.
Now, don't tell my dad this, but I probably would have made a couple more mistakes had he not double checked on me the way he did. So it might have been annoying at the time, like, Dad, I got this, but now looking back, we definitely avoided a couple of big mistakes. So the bed is basically 3 benches put together. So we made all of our long cuts. Hold on, y'all, pause for this unnecessary celebration I do.
Is this scrap or what?
Look, it's the small wins out here. When we got to the smaller pieces, the dividers for the drawers and the shelves, I had to take off the Kreg saw guide because it wouldn't have worked. So my brother actually stepped up and decided he wanted to try to give the circular saw a try. And I, being the sister that I am, had to make fun of him the entire way. But I showed him how to do it. There's your line, Momo. Ready for you to cut it. And you just don't keep your fingers too close. Right. So then when you're ready to go, you're gonna push this and hold the trigger, and it's gonna give you.
At the same time?
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah. I don't know how to do both at the same time.
Like, thumb.
Oh, I can do it that way?
However.
Oh, you made it seem like I can.
Whatever's comfortable for you. Wait, hold on. Just gotta press my gram.
No.
Why not? Just don't cut your fingers off and focus. Don't worry about me, just focus.
Ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Come back. Yeah, don't start on the wood. I had to speed it up or else we'll be here forever. I know he's new, but he was going so slow. How you feel? It looks good, it's straight.
I don't know about
That's
that.
nice, look. Hit the measurement.
Shout.
Perfect, look.
Stop it.
That's perfect, literally
Stop
perfect.
it.
Okay, Mo with the skills. It's perfect. Get you a sister that hypes you up like that. And I knew if I hyped him up, he'd be more willing to do more cuts. And it worked out for me, and he did some learning. Y'all, peep my dad in the back. He just comes, supervises, never drops his wine, ever, and helps us with the cuts. This is another PSA to always wear safety glasses. We left them at home in Charlotte, so we just did a look away. It's not a great idea, just didn't want to pay $1 million to get some in the store. We worked until about 9-ish. We wanted to be courteous of his neighbors. It is a townhome, so they're in close proximity. So we just got our cuts done. We didn't get as much done as we would have liked. We ran into a couple of errors, but it was totally cool. We divided up the work. They were working on the plywood while I was working on cutting some of the trim, and then we just cleaned up and started the next morning. Got right back to cutting. There's a ton of trim for these benches, so cut all that up. It was nice in the morning. It was nice and cool because it gets hot once the sun starts hitting the house. Ton of sanding, ton of staining and pocket holes, and more staining and more pocket holes and more heat. And it's never a good idea in the heat to stain because it was literally drying as I was putting it on. So the plywood came out a little bit streaky, but it wasn't enough to have to sand it and do it over again. Now, finally on day 2, we're at an assembly point. So we started getting the benches together. It's super easy and straightforward to put together. There's just shelves on the bottom, and then you have your long pieces of plywood for the top. And the whole outside will be bordered with a trim. So it comes out really cute, and it's really easy to assemble. Just some pocket holes, some nails, good to go. We were starting to see it come together, and my brother's mattress came that day, so he was really excited to sleep in his own bed. We got the bottom part just good enough so that he can sleep, and then we were gonna come back and finish up the rest. The moment of truth, putting the mattress on, and it fit. We came back for day 3 and started on the headboard. I didn't have any plans for this one. I was really just winging it, which honestly is a terrible idea. Don't do what I did. If you have a plan, it just makes things a lot easier. I didn't have one. I looked at some pictures and I was like, oh, okay, cool. We'll just put some 2x4s on the back of the headboard and that'll hold the whole thing together. Because the headboard was so massive, we had to do the assembling upstairs in his bedroom, which is totally fine. It just created a lot more upstairs, downstairs runs, which I got my steps in, so totally fine. We assembled the 2x4s 3/4 of an inch down from the border so that when we put the panels of wood on top, it'll sit flush. While my dad did the sanding, I went in the garage and started laying out the panels how we wanted them to be on the actual headboard. We wanted different sizes. We didn't want anything to be calculated or a specific pattern. So we just laid them out and then we started doing random cuts. This is the dry fit and I could not be happier with it. I mean, it just came out so cute, y'all. Okay, I'm done. I just get excited. After the dry fit, we just got right into assembling it. My brother got off of work just in time to help with this part, so I didn't have to do it all by myself. This was the moment where my brother really saw it coming together and he was starting to get a lot more excited. We just matched up all the pieces and nailed them into the 2x4s on the back end and of course secured it with wood glue so that it doesn't go anywhere. After that, we made sure to fill in all the nail holes with wood filler. After sanding it all down, I jumped right into the staining. This is my biggest build so far, so I've never stained so much wood at one time. It was really hard to do. My arms hurt really badly, but I couldn't stop because I didn't want the stain to dry unevenly. So I made it happen, but probably not gonna do it this way again. I got my woman at home. Woman, I got something at home. Something's at home. This song came up and I could not remember the words. It's like my favorite song from my childhood and I was trying to figure it out with my dad, and I'm gonna spare you guys my terrible singing, but we were probably on this for about an hour before we figured out what song I was talking about. This is just one of the many random conversations that we ended up talking about throughout this whole build. It's very rare me, my dad, and my brother get to hang out together all the time between work. So it was really cool to hang out and just catch up on literally everything. Now we were able to see what the headboard looked like with the frame, and we all loved it so much. So back to work. We went with some cupboards on the side, cabinets. I don't know why I called them cupboards. Who says that? Anyway, we went with cabinets on the sides as his nightstands so that it's easy for just him to open and close. It's such a small space that a drawer wouldn't have necessarily worked there. We are nearing the end of the bed build. And once again, the drawers are kicking our asses. Last time, if you saw my DIY nightstand video, the drawers were too big. This time, they're too small. Tell me another story of my life. If I never have to build drawers again in my life, I might actually be okay with that. It took the 3 of us and a really long time to get it together, but we finally got it, installed the faces and the hardware, and it was coming together. Once you put the hardware on, you can really see what's about to happen and how cute it's gonna be. And I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but toot toot. This is the last part that needs to be put together. This is it. But we have all this mess to clean up first. If I'm being completely honest, I was over this build at this point. I was tired and my body ached and I was ready to go. So I had them finish up the hardware stuff. I knew they could handle it. I took my eye off of them for 1 second and started cleaning, and they messed up the cabinet. So I had to go back in and fix it. But we finished the whole thing. We made a bed. I just made the most intense bed ever. And by I mean we. We got his mattress and his sheets on there so we could get a better idea of what it'll look like. Does anyone else have a really hard time getting duvet covers on? I mean, I need to start looking at some of these TikTok videos and figuring it out, because I literally just crawl inside it with the blanket and make it work. Now, you know it's only right that I called Kat in to help with the decorating. So we took a road trip down to South Carolina, brought Josie with us, of course, and we got to decorating. It was so hard to do for a man because we're so extra, and we wanted to throw flowers and plants and colors, and he wanted simple black.
Look, girl.
The brother bed build is complete. As he says, he has a grown-up room now.